Hello everyone, it's Brian here in Toronto. In this video today, I'm going to talk about this debut record from Sharon is Karen called Heart of the World. Yes, I left the shrink wrap on here just to irritate you with additional glare. It's the front and the back. This came out on October 11th, 2024, so just over a month ago. This is the new project from Louis Golden. So in this video, I'm going to tell you a bit about this record and give you my impressions about it. There's the hype sticker, which I will read to you. Sharon is Karen debut LP Heart of the World, featuring the singles Carpet Burns and Rule Number 9, featuring Joey. It's either Calio or Calio, I'm not sure. 180 gram translucent orange vinyl. Limited edition of 200, which is hand numbered. If you want to purchase this record, you can go to Bandcamp, where I will leave a link below. If you don't want to purchase the vinyl version, you can also purchase a download. You can also stream it at Bandcamp and YouTube and Apple Music and Spotify and some other places. So have a look for it if you want to give it a listen. I encourage you to do that. So I first became aware of Louis Golden in the vinyl community. I had commented on some of his videos and he had commented on some of mine. I think it's fair to say that I got to know him a little bit. And it's obvious to me that he was a musician. Well, I guess what I wasn't fully aware of is that he was working on new music. So I was a bit, I'd say, surprised, but also not surprised when I heard about this record. So first of all, congratulations for putting a record out. I think it's a monumental achievement. So I'm going to tell you a bit about this record and, as I mentioned, what I think about it. So let's just look at the musicians first. We have Louis Golden, guitar and vocals. We have John Farrow, bass and drums. And that seems to be the core of the band. Very classic rock structure with guitar, vocals, bass, and drums. We have some additional musicians listed here. For example, Ellie Rafe, additional vocals on Tear It Out. We have Riley Hill, additional vocals on I Hate It Here, and I believe he's a Canadian. Joey Calio, I mentioned earlier, additional vocals on Rule Number 9. He is in bands Dada and Seven Horse, also has done some solo recordings. I didn't really know who he was, though, before this record. Rob Diker, I guess, additional guitar on Rule Number 9, and Dan Ream, additional vocals on Say Goodbye. I didn't know anything about those two musicians. There's some information here about mastering and production and whatnot. 4 tracks on side A, 3 tracks on side B. I should show you the record before we go any further. Nice polyline sleeve, and there's this lovely orange vinyl. So all in all, a really great looking package, and I always like to comment on album design, and I think this is a really nice album cover, so I give this 2 thumbs up. I think it looks really great. So in terms of describing this record, I think we have to start with what genre it is, and I think it's clear that it's a rock record, a rock and roll record. But having said that, I don't think you'd be wrong to also call it a pop record in some ways, but a pop record with a very guitar sound, a very full guitar sound. So definitely rock and roll. And I think pop comes through because the songs are very melodic and accessible. On the Bandcamp page, it describes it as pop punk. And to me, that really makes a lot of sense because there is a lot of guitar in this music, and the guitar is very front and forward. And so you're going to hear what may sound to some ears like punk music, but I think it's tempered a bit with the pop sensibility. So pop punk seems to be a good way to describe it. It's also described as power pop. That also makes sense to me, or hyper pop. You could say indie. In some respects, it may be a little bit like indie rock from the 90s, guitar rock from the 90s, maybe. I'm not always the best at deciding what genre something is, but those all seem like perfectly legitimate descriptions of this music. Have you ever been in a bookstore and you look at a book and you read the blurb on the jacket that was written by the author or the publisher or some marketing person, and then you read the book and you go back and read that blurb again, and you kind of think, well, that blurb doesn't really describe the book in any way. Sometimes it happens with records too. You'll see a description from a record label and you're not really sure that it's accurate. But in this case, I think what's written on Bandcamp is actually really accurate. So I'm going to just read a part of that. This Heart of the World delivers a unique sonic blend characterized by fuzzy guitars. Absolutely correct. This is full of fuzzy guitars, really great sounding guitars. Irresistible vocal melodies. Yes, there's a good sense of melody on this record throughout, and I think the vocals are delivered in a very strong way. And infectious hooks. Yes, hooks and riffs that you will remember. In fact, after listening to this, they were running through my head, drawing inspiration from both punk rock's raw energy. Yes, I think that's accurate. There's a lot of energy in this recording. There's no down spots, if that makes any sense. There's no ballad. It's all very energetic. Where was I? And hyperpop's boundary pushing production. So yeah, I think all of those are true. And when you listen to this, you get a sense of a very well conceived record that really has a good pace to it that makes you want to keep listening to it. And there's no parts of the record that seem incomplete or that could have used more work. I think it's fully realized, if I can say that. And having mentioned the word punk, I would say that the vocals are not punk in any way. I think Louis Golden's singing is very sophisticated. He has a very good voice, and I don't think they're punk vocals, but I can see how some people would say the music may be a little bit punk. So that would be my assessment there. So the first track, Carpet Burns, which was a single, bracket Sketches of Pain, is a really good introduction to the record, kind of like a calling card. If you start streaming this and you like that song, you're going to like the rest of the record because it has that same energy throughout the record. So that's a really good way to start the record. There's also some humor in this record. For example, track number 3, Fork in the Toaster. I just noted the lines, I've been waiting for you with a fork in the toaster, hoping the end would come soon. I heard that. I was like, wow, that's really funny. And while my hair is on fire and my t-shirt is smoking, I'm somehow waiting for you. Very funny. That's a great song. I hate it here. I kind of passed over that one. Also a really good song. The centerpiece of the record is probably going to be Rule Number 9. It's a really intriguing track, and it's memorable. I like the way it's produced. I like the way it's structured. It's really good. For me, though, if I were picking the best track on the album, I might choose Tear It Out. I just think it's great. The backing vocals, I think, are really terrific on that song. But every track on here, I think, is great. I find there's no room for me to fault anything here. I think it's all well done. And, if we look at production, Louis Golden, John Farrow, Riley Hill, and Rob Dyker all do production work. There's some mixing. Some of the mixing duties were shared, mastered by Louis Golden at Fried Egg Audio, except for one track, which was mastered by someone else. But really, I'm going to keep repeating, really well done. So my assignment for you is to go to Bandcamp. I'll leave a link, of course, or YouTube, or your favorite streaming services, and listen to this record. If you can't commit to the whole thing, just listen to a couple tracks. Rule Number 9, maybe the singles, Carpet Burns, Tear It Out. Listen to those tracks, see what you think of it. And I encourage you to consider buying the digital tracks at least, or perhaps the record. I think I read somewhere that Louis was working on new music, so I hope that's true, because I think it would be great to get new music from him. So after this, I'm still listening. I'm still enjoying this. I'll be listening to this many more times in the coming weeks. I think it's a record I think I will come back to. So just in summary, I would say mixing, mastering, production, recording, all sound great. The vocals sound great. The instruments sound great. Consistently good, no weak tracks. I think it's sonically a really interesting record. And I like the jacket. So that's my quick assessment of this record. I would be curious to know what you think of it. If you make the time to listen to some of these tracks, I would love to hear your feedback on it, whether you think it's good, what you think of it. I'm losing my voice. But thanks for watching, and I hope you take some time to have a listen to some of this music. See you in the next video.